Good morning. I haven't filmed a video in a week or so. I think I've been married a month now. A few days is going to be a month. And I think I'm about to film a video here about why I haven't been filming videos because there's a lot of guilt. Because I want to, and I'm going to start again. I will start again. Um, so I've been married a month and it's been like wonderful, beautiful. Everything's great. I have made more personal growth in the last month than I have in years. I think he has too. But people didn't understand the marriage. It happened so quickly. And I keep on trying to tell people, but in the end, this isn't about me explaining to other people why things are. I'm finally making good decisions in life. It's like half of my life I'm spending making good decisions. The other half I'm explaining to people that everything's great. And it's like, it's laborious. Oh, there's Lily. There's Lily. And, I kind of back away from that and I've stopped making videos, which part of me making videos is just about, me growing with myself, not explaining to other people. And it's just when you start making videos like this, the repercussions are long withstanding, I think is the 1-2 punch of the marriage and the videos that people think I'm going crazy and I'm not. Like, it's just, I get a little frustrated when people think I'm going crazy. And I will admit this, I lost my best friend. And, see, I'm done not talking about people because these people are my life and you can talk about me too. I can't one of the reasons why I haven't been making videos is every time I mention someone, like there's a huge avalanche, and I'm just telling the truth, and I'm taking my part of the situation too. This isn't like me, absolving myself of guilt or blaming anyone. Well, I lost my best friend, and what she doesn't like my husband, but she won't meet him, which is the consensus. Everyone doesn't like this decision, and I'm like objectively like this man. We've been together we've known each other for about 4 months now. We've been together for a month. He hasn't done like one thing that has even been not even slightly in my best interest. And I'm like, look, I can't even tell you, like, everything's perfect here at this house. What's going on here is we are in Illinois right now, and he's looking for work. He's actively looking for work. He's been to a bunch of job interviews. A little frustrating in this market. My husband was the birth of a heroin. He was a heroin baby. He was born with legally blind problems because his mother did heroin, and he was rushed into an emergency room and pulled out of her stomach while she was overdosing. So now he has a handicap for the rest of his life, which he's learned how to work with this disability, and has worked all of his life, but then some people won't give him a chance, and it's hard in a new town. I think today we'll hear from our friend Jeannie, introduces to a bunch of people at a landscaping, a Native American landscaping business. Native plants, I should say Native American, native plants landscaping, and it looks like he's going to get that job. But it's been a little frustrating. We've been here for a couple weeks now, and he's not working, and he's going crazy. And then, like, when you don't have, he wasn't answering the phone the other day. I'm like, people are going to think something's wrong with us because we're not answering the phone, and like neither of us want to deal with like the negativity of like right now we're getting our stuff together, we're doing everything we have to do. And everything is going very, very well. I don't know what else to say. And it's like laborious to have to explain that. And then every time I get on a video, I have to explain that, which I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't need to validate my life. What I said to my best friend was I was on drugs for 15 years. I was promiscuous. I was dating all kinds of losers, just horrible people. I married a gay man somewhere in there in the middle of like a nervous breakdown with drugs and everything. I mean, my life was really bad. And that's the normal kind of bad in this society. Nobody seemed to intervene. I have a cat attacking my foot. Nobody intervened then, and now people are like, we're worried about you that you joined a cult. I am practicing the Hebrew faith now. It's not a cult. And again, like having to go on a video to explain why nothing's wrong is like a losing proposition. But look into it. Pastor Dowell is our pastor. If anybody thinks that I'm in trouble, I'm not. I have spent a life of like horrible debauchery in this world. And everybody knows a few years ago I found God, and now I'm being pretty strict about my religion. I've gradually gone this way over the last few years, ever since I've gotten clean, because my life was really bad. And I decided the only way to turn it around is to be really good. Make an active effort on a minute by minute basis not to sin. Like, I wake up and every decision I make, people don't make that decision anymore. They make decisions based on what's best for them. And I make me and my husband make decisions different than the rest of the world. And that's why he and I get along. We sit down, every problem we have, we're like, well, what would God want us to do? Sometimes it doesn't turn out for you to be the most successful person, but neither of us really want money. We just want to be good in God's eye, and we want to sleep at night because we both came from some kind of past. He's been farther from the past than I have been, and I've only 3 years from that horrible, horrible existence. But my whole point in saying this is, like, people weren't really all that worried about me when I was on and off of drugs and being promiscuous and dressing like just a whore. Like, going around acting like a whore, dressing like a whore. Like, nobody intervened because that's normal in society. Now that I'm covering my hair and I'm married to this man that nobody can find a problem with, because there's no problem with him, because he's a really, really good man. Like, now people are worried, and I'm like, look, I don't know what to say here. I understand. I think my mom's trying to give us a chance. My daughter won't talk to me. I'm not sure why, for harms I've done in the past, which I understand. I wanted to go to therapy for that. But at this point, I know I'm not harming anyone because I'm actively living my life in the light. Like, it's like, I don't know what to say about that. I heard a lot of people when I first started spiritually awakening, a lot of people like talk about how it just ends in, kind of being alone. Everyone thinks you're crazy, and I'm getting a taste of that now. I'm glad I met a husband. I'm sure getting married in the middle of all this, like, threw a monkey wrench in it all, because what happened with I learned. I spent 2 years in solitude and learned a lot about myself and my own patterns and what I was doing wrong in life and why I kept on choosing bad men and what I was doing not to be a good woman. And I spent a couple years in solitude understanding myself on a very intimate, deep level. I listened to a lot of music. I did a lot of praying. I did a lot of yoga. And it came to the point where life became formulaic. You see something ahead of you. You see it's a warning symbol. You say no, and then you move on. These demonic people, when they approach me, I know it now. And I have a sixth sense for good people as well, which is a beautiful thing. So, I think Cody had been going through that as well. Like, you get to know the warning signs. So you make decisions very quickly. I went through a series before I married Cody of men courting me and me just no, 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 no. Because I know right away, like, I knew what to look for. What I was looking for is a man who never lied and, like, actually made part of his, you know, Cody and I talked about that. Like, we first met, like, part of our life is never lying. Like, people don't talk like that anymore. So when you meet another person who never lies, and I don't lie, my opinion won't differ from you. I will sit down and talk to you about my opinion. Sorry, I think he just woke up. I'll sit down and talk to you about my opinion, but at the same time, I'm not gonna lie. I might see things different than you. I'm the first person to talk about why our opinions differ and how we can make each other it so that, because in the end, all I want is other people to be happy and other people to get to where I got spiritually with God, and got to a point where I can walk in His path. So, God, this video's gone all over the place. I don't even know what I'm gonna title this. It's just a matter of, like, why I haven't been dropping videos, and it's nonsense because, again, this is how I started all these videos. I started on January 6th, the same day that I just found out the bar, like, accepted the turning in of my license, which is a whole other, like, avalanche. They keep on trying to draw me back in and answer bar complaints because people are complaining now that I left. I didn't do anything wrong. I've never done anything wrong. I turned away their money. I had so much. People are mad that I didn't take their dirty money. People are mad that I didn't take their dirty money. In the end of my legal career, that's what it was about. Just a bunch of dirty stuff going on and me saying no, and now being blamed for other things because, people didn't take my dirty money. So, it just gets to be like, you know, my ex-husband was a writer, and when I first met him, I he had a blog, a really raw blog, and I said, "Can you keep doing this? Because when you're talking about real life, your real stuff, it's inevitable that one person is going to be upset, and a lot of people are going to be inspired, and then some people are going to think you're crazy, and some people are going to judge you." In the first video I made on January 6th, I said to myself, like, I'm not a lawyer anymore. I'm tired of being judged, hiding everything about myself to maintain appearances isn't working anymore. And it served me very well, being very blunt about who I am. Even going into my current relationship, my marriage, I was able to tell him exactly who I was, and he was able to tell me before we even met. And that takes years for some people, because people hide everything about themselves. And then you find out these things, you know, further on into the relationship, and you're like, how did I get into this relationship? So there's none of that with Cody and I, because within 2 weeks we met as friends and we kind of knew the lay of the land. Of course, I'm making videos, and he's very honest too about who he is, and he's like me, he's fixed himself. So, but when I talk, I think I've gotten stuck back in the pitfall of, okay, so like A, B, C, D, E, and F all think I'm crazy for different reasons, is the funny part about it. Like, everyone thinks I'm going crazy for different reasons because there's no substantive evidence that I'm going crazy. My life is going really well. People know I'm different. I'm covering my hair. So I guess they're trying to grasp at reasons why something might be wrong, but nothing's wrong. And then I've stopped making videos because proving a negative is like infuriating. And, there is normal struggles going on in life, but it's normal struggles. Again, we're settling into a marriage, and we're having a great time. Every night we have game night, we have dinner together. Like, we have a great time together. I was telling him last night that I'm so glad, because the reason why I married Cody was because I was looking for a man who was following in the path of God, like I was, actively, like consciously, not just saying it, like consciously in a day-to-day effort. And that's what I was looking for in a man who didn't lie and had a huge amount of integrity and honesty. And that was my top criteria. And last night we were in bed laughing. Every night I've been reading. My husband has vision problems. As I mentioned before, he was born with vision problems. And we've been reading in bed, and it's nice because I love reading, and then we both are getting the same knowledge at the same time, so we can discuss the knowledge. But we were laughing together, and I'm like, I'm glad that I married a guy that it's going to end up being a man that's going to be my friend, because we legitimately, like, we get along. And that's another reason why I've been dropping videos, because my need for human interaction is satiated. I was in solitude, but now, I have someone around. We talk all day, but we not only talk all day, we're not only in the same room, like, we legitimately get along. So we have conversations of substance on a daily basis. So a lot of my personal growth is being made with him. I think he can say the same thing about me, because we have a relationship that's much deeper than surface, like, oh, you're hot, oh, you have money, you can buy me something, oh, let's go drink and go partying. We have a very deep relationship from the very beginning. We have a substantive relationship. So I get a lot of personal growth out of him. However, I do need to record videos because it's important for me to see my growth. And it's important because I know I help out a lot of other people. And I do want to get this YouTube, really get started. I got sidetracked. I don't say sidetracked. When I left the practice of law, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do with my life. Like, I was shimmied in this thing I hated so much. God, I hated being a lawyer so much. And, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to be. Like, I really didn't. And everybody's like, why are you? I'm like, I'm doing nothing so I can find what I like to do. Well, I started selling, like, old stuff on Poshmark. I freaking love it. Like, I used to think I was lazy as a lawyer because I dreaded going to work. I'm working like 8-9 hours a day on Poshmark stuff. And I'm really selling stuff. I'm looking at my packages stacked up on the table. Like, I legitimately like this. I don't feel lazy. I feel competent. I like it. And I'm like laughing. Last night I was staring off into nowhere, and Cody's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm just thinking about something. I'm thinking about how in 15 years, every day of being a lawyer was drudgery. Like, I hated getting up. I hated doing it, but everybody accepted me. And now I'm like actually doing something. I'm like, this is fun. I could totally resell for for a living. So I was going to say I got sidetracked on my YouTube gig, but it wasn't even sidetracked. I have a lot of things. I need to find myself and what I like to do, because that's the only way you're ever going to be successful. And I don't even want money, but by successful, I mean just, find something that gratifies me. And there are a lot, but it's not what I've been told all my life or what I thought was all my life. We do have a lot of cooking going on in the kitchen still. We are still taking pictures of the kitchen. I do want to step that up. And the YouTube channel is still going. And then I have the Poshmark thing going on right now. And, we're have a bunch of side projects, and that's how we want to live our life. It's just, I know it's not a traditional way. It's not that we're like confused. It's we're consciously deciding to live a different life. We want to get off the grid, more and more off the grid gradually, and we want to start being self-sustaining. We want to do side gigs as our main work. We neither of us want a 9 to 5 job, you know. And he wants me to primarily, I want to primarily work within the household and, be a traditional wife. And he wants to be a traditional husband. And we want to get off the grid. And it's not that weird. It's just, I know it was a big change from where I came from. But, like, I mean, if anybody's watching this that knows me, I was miserable before. I was on drugs. I'm sorry. I feel horrible. I was a mother during all this. I'm not flippant about this. It wasn't a good way to be a mother. I'm ashamed of it, but I mean, it happened. And now I'm trying to like get away from that girl that hated life because I hated being a lawyer. I hated being a business person. I hate being a corporate person. I'm trying to get away from it. And it might look crazy. I respect anybody who's actively changing in this world because people think you're crazy when you're changing. Like, I hate, I've had thrown in me, there's someone going around saying she's off her meds. I'm like, what's wrong with my life? My house is clean. I'm eating good food. I have a husband who loves me. Like, just because I'm getting away from a life that I've always hated, that I wasn't thriving in, doesn't mean I'm off my meds. Like, the insinuation there is, like, I left something I hate, that must mean I'm unmedicated. I'm like, no, I had the courage to leave something I hate. I hated it. And I had the courage to do it in full faith that the future would take care of me. And I had the courage to pray for a husband because after I left the practice of law, I'm like, I want to be married. Like, that's what I want to be. I could be a good wife. I could make a good man very happy one day. And I had the courage to pray for God. And then when God sent him, I had the courage to take him, not doubt God, and to the external world that looks crazy. But if you compare my old life, from the horrible practice of law, it's the devil's work. Law is devil's work. From that to the dating of whoever, to the dressing and attention getting and everything, the Jezebel spirit, as Pastor Tal would call it, the Jezebel spirit that was in me. But that was, fine, kosher, like, oh, that's just Nicole being Nicole. Now I'm like, I'm doing something substantive on a daily basis. So I'm not going to let that, just like I told Nick, don't let what other people think cause you not to write. Same with me with talking. I'm writing as well, but I need to talk even if it upsets people because it's real and I'm trying to grow. And this is all about me growing because when you shed your old self, people think you're crazy, even if your old self was a horrible. It's like I was shedding snake skin some days. I feel like I'm just shedding snake skin. Like I'm trying to get rid of that old skin. But people are like, look, why are you changing? I'm like, because I was a freaking, like, I don't want to be that person anymore, but it's still, the resistance to change of other people has been stronger than the resistance to change in me. God helped me with this change. He brought it to me. But, it's been a really hard, and I thank God every day that, I was for Cody. It's hard for me to defend this person who's saving my life. Like, it's like, it's like so frivolous. That's kind of, I think, why we're sticking to ourselves, because I'm like, we're fine. Like, we're going to be fine. He and I are good. I understand I've had a checkered past, but my whole, like, the last few years, I've changed everything about myself. I mean, I look different. I am different. I talk different. And, having to explain to people not to be worried now that everything is better by far than it's ever been is like ludicrous to me because I don't know how else to say it. Like, I've never lived a better life. Things aren't perfect. I mean, things aren't perfect, but I'm living a life. I set my standards, like, if my grandmother is watching me right now, would she be happy? Because my grandmother died a few years ago and I was really close to her. And I set the standard for myself, like if my grandmother's watching 24/7, 24/7, like not, because a lot of people do things during the day because other people aren't watching. But I'm at the point now that if my grandmother had been watching me 24/7 for the past month, 2 months, 3 months, like I wouldn't be ashamed. Like I would be proud of myself and she would be proud of me. Like instead of proving it to the world there's someone in heaven, that, it just, and I have to live with that. Then I know that I'm doing the right thing, even if the world is going to say, this, that, and the other thing, because they're going to, because, people don't like change. Okay, well, I'm going to go now. My husband just woke up and he's listening to me. Waking up to a crying wife. Okay, have a good day.